In today's video, we're trading Ja Morant. Now, it's no surprise that there's been drama surrounding the Grizzlies this season, and at the center of that drama is Ja Morant once again. I personally love Ja Morant. I think he's a great basketball player. I think he is capable of being the leader on a winning team. But unfortunately, year after year after year, there is drama in Memphis with Ja Morant. And it seems like the team doesn't necessarily want to move off of Ja Morant right now, but there's been a lot of buzz about it. And so what we're going to do today is we're going to find 3 trades online. We're going to take those trades, we're going to put them into 2K, execute the trade, and then we're just going to sit back and observe the season for each of those respective teams, the Grizzlies and whatever team Ja goes to. And then we'll rate the trade if it's thumbs up, thumbs down at the end of the season. So let's go find some trades that we think make sense for Ja Morant. All right, so right here on BleacherReport.com, you can see up here, Bleacher Report NBA, they've got a whole article here that is Ja Morant trades. I'm not going to do this Trae Young one because I've got something in store for the Trae Young one coming up later. This Phoenix Suns one for Jalen Green doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. I don't think that Memphis would want Jalen, and I don't think that the Suns would want Ja Morant. They've already got guards, so they don't really need Ja Morant. This one, however, is interesting to me. I think that this one could work out because you pair Bam and Ja together, and you get off Tyler Hero's huge contract. I don't really know how it would work out, to be honest, with Tyler Hero in Memphis, but this is the first one that we're going to do. We're going to do Tyler Hero for Ja Morant, and I like that it's a 1-for-1 thing here, because in 2K, that's going to make it a lot easier. Now, later on, we're going to get into maybe a 3-team deal, maybe multiple players involved in it. But for now, to start out, we're going to do Tyler Hero and Ja Morant as the primary pieces in this trade. All right, so I've got the trade put into 2K. It looks like Ja Morant's overall has dropped since the last time that I've played. So him and Tyler are actually the same overall, which is kind of weird. Contracts work out. Everything looks good there. I do have trade override turned on, so even if Miami declines this trade, we're just going to force the trade and then it'll go through. So for this trade, we're going to go ahead and send it through. Add exception. Trade was declined. We've overridden the trade. Miami have agreed to your offer. So now you look at the Grizzlies starting lineup. Tyler Hero, Caldwell Pope, Cedric Howard, Jaren Jackson Jr., Zach Edey. Not the greatest starting lineup in the world, but to be fair, it's not the greatest starting lineup in the world, even with Ja in the lineup. All right, we're also going to take control of the Miami Heat here so that we can click over to the Miami Heat and check out their roster, as well as keep up with Ja Morant and his stats in Miami. So we click over to Miami, we go up to coaching, coach game plan, look at this lineup. Ja Morant, Davion Mitchell, Norman Powell, Bam Adebayo, Khalil Ware. Again, maybe not the greatest lineup in the world, but adding Ja Morant might just be a spark for them. And they are currently 3rd in the Eastern Conference, so who really knows, you know? We're going to go ahead and simulate, let's see, we'll simulate to the All-Star break, and we'll check in and see how these guys are doing on their respective teams, and then we'll simulate from there to the end of the season. That's how we'll do it all the way through this. All right, here we are at the All-Star break. Memphis has completely fallen off. They are 10 games below 500. They are 13th in the conference. They look pretty terrible, if I'm being honest. So let's go look at these stats, season stats, player stats. Yeah, I mean, Tyler Hero's balling. I mean, he's averaging 23, 4 and 4, basically, and a steal. So he's shooting 53% from the field, basically 50% from the 3-point line, which, I mean, you can't ask for anything more out of your starting point guard. I mean, maybe some more assists out of your starting point guard, because Vince Williams Jr. is leading the team in assists. That's kind of crazy. But Memphis is just, they're not gelling. It's not working. The Tyler Hero experience in Memphis is not working. I bet that if they made this trade, they would be regretting it. But let's click over to Miami and see how they're doing. So Miami is below 500. They have dropped from 3rd in the conference to 7th in the conference. I did not turn off injuries, so that is something to keep an eye on. Did not turn off injuries, which means that Ja Morant or the respective player he's traded for could either one get injured. Let's go check out Ja's stats so far. So Ja is leading the team in points, leading the team in assists, and leading the team in minutes, which is to be expected, shooting 48% from the field. He is shooting an abysmal 26% from the three-point line. That is insane. All right, so neither of these teams are really working out the way that maybe either of them had hoped when they originally made this trade. So we're going to go ahead and simulate to the end of the season. I am going to predict that neither of these two teams make the playoffs. The Grizzlies are 13th in the West right now, and Miami is sitting at 7th, so they would be in the play-in. I don't think that that is going to hold. I think Miami's going to fall out of the play-in, and I think neither team will make the playoffs. But who knows? Let's simulate regular season, and I will see you in the playoffs. All right, the real question is, did either of our teams make the playoffs or the play-in? It looks like the Grizzlies have not. No, the Grizzlies did not. They are not even in the play-in, so they fell completely past 10th. Miami actually ended up into the playoffs. They don't even have to go to the play-in. They ended up 6th seed. So we can see what Ja Morant gets to do in Miami for the playoffs. I am going to go ahead. Actually, you know what? I'm not taking control of anything here. If the coach wants to give him more minutes, the coach will give him more minutes. That's my philosophy here. I'm not going to take control of anything. We're just going to simulate and see what happens. So first round, they get Toronto. What are these lineups even looking like? So Toronto has Drew Holiday, RJ Barrett, Brandon Ingram, Scotty Barnes, Jakob Poeltl. I think that Toronto's probably better. And it makes sense because they are the higher seed and they won the play-in tournament. But let's get to simulating. We win game 1. We lose game 2. We win game 3. We lose game 4. We win game 5. We lose game 6, go into a game 7, and we will sim with Simcast and see if we get an opportunity to jump into this game and see Ja Morant in a Miami Heat jersey. All right, it's looking like we're not going to be able to jump into this game. Looking like we're not going to get to jump in here. Toronto is going to run away with it. And we ended up losing in the first round, which is fine. You know, we didn't expect anything crazy here. We didn't expect to, go on a crazy run and make it to the NBA Finals. So year number 1, trade number 1, Ja Morant for Tyler Hero did not work out for either team. Memphis ended up falling completely out of the playoffs, didn't even make the play-in tournament. And Miami made it to the playoffs as a 6th seed, but then they ended up losing in Game 7 to Toronto in the first round. So overall, I would rate this trade as a thumbs down for both teams. I don't think that this trade is really going to elevate either team to a point where they want to be. So for the Tyler Hero, Ja Morant trade, I say thumbs down. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. But let's see what else we can find as far as realistic trade offers for Ja Morant. All right, so here we are on basketnews.com. You see right here at the top, basketnews.com. They've got a 3-teamer here that involves Memphis, Toronto, and Atlanta, in which Trae Young would end up in Memphis, Ja Morant would end up in Toronto, and Emmanuel Quickley would end up with Atlanta. Now, it also has listed Colin Murray-Boyles. I'll be honest with you, I put this trade into 2K and it wouldn't let me send it through because Colin Murray-Boyles was a part of it. The Raptors were going to have to receive another player. So instead of adding Colin Murray-Boyles to it, I'm just adding Emmanuel Quickley. So it's a 3-team trade, but it only involves 3 players. Let's go ahead and head over to 2K and we'll analyze this trade. We'll send it through and then we'll start watching these teams. All right, so here we are in 2K. We've got the trade loaded up. We got Ja Morant going to Toronto, Trae Young coming to Memphis, and Emmanuel Quickley going to Atlanta. Now, obviously, in this trade, I think the Grizzlies probably make out the best. One, just based off of overalls, but also based off of the fact that Ja is going to Toronto. Toronto's not the greatest team in the world, although they did just beat Miami in our last trade that we did. Emmanuel Quickley going to Atlanta. I like Emmanuel Quickley a lot. I don't think that he is a $130 million player. I just don't. Trae Young coming to Memphis. He's only got 1 year left on his contract. You get him for the rest of this season. Maybe you re-sign him, maybe not. Who really knows? But I think Trae Young would fit in well with Memphis because he's such a similar player to what Ja Morant brings, aside from the explosiveness, like the passing ability, the shooting ability, those sorts of things. So we're going to go ahead and send this trade through. It's probably going to be declined. Oh, it wasn't declined. Okay. So here we go. All right, here we are at the trade deadline, and Memphis I don't think is as bad as they were. Actually, I think they're worse. I think in the Tyler Hero one, they were 22 and 32 at the trade deadline, and currently, as it stands, they are 17 and 37. So they're real bad. Even worse with Trae Young in here somehow. Let's go check the player stats and see what's going on. Okay, so Jaren and Cedric Howard are both injured. That is another thing that, like, injuries are turned on, so any of these players can get injured, but that, I mean, keeps it obviously a little bit more realistic. Trae comes in, he's averaging more assists than Ja, which is to be expected. And he's averaging more points than Ja has been. Now, Trae Young, I believe when he got traded, was only averaging like 18 points a game, so to bump up to 26 is pretty cool. But it's not really working out because they're losing games. Let's check on Atlanta, who got Emmanuel Quickley. They are the 8th seed, 30 and 26. We'll see how Emmanuel Quickley is doing. Emmanuel Quickley is the, 4th leading scorer on the team. Leading the team, not even leading the team in assists. He's 2nd on the team in minutes, though, just not really producing much. The most important one is Ja Morant on the Toronto Raptors. How is that holding up? So they are 36 and 19. They are 3rd in the conference, which is 1 spot lower than they were when the trade occurred. But Brandon Ingram is hurt. Looks like Ja Morant is leading the team in points. Again, Brandon Ingram has been hurt. He is leading the team in assists. He is, let's see if his 3-point shooting is still terrible. I don't know if that's just something that the game has changed this year or what, but his 3-point shooting is still just absolutely abysmal. It was last time too, it was like 25%. So still not shooting the ball very efficiently, but he's scoring points. They're winning games. They're 3rd in the conference. We will go ahead and simulate to the playoffs, and we'll see you there. All right, here we are at the end of the season. Shea wins MVP, no surprise there. Cooper Flag, Rookie of the Year, again, no surprise there. And we'll go through all of those. None of those matter because none of them belong to us. Did any of our players make All-NBA teams? This is something we didn't check last year, and my bad, I completely forgot. So no 1st or 2nd team. No 3rd team, it looks like. Oh, Trae Young made 3rd team. So Trae Young makes 3rd team. None of these guys are going to make defensive teams. So let's see. We had Memphis not in the playoffs or the play-in, so that sucks. And then we had Atlanta, who made the 4 seed, and then we had Toronto, who made the 3 seed. So we do have 2 of the 3 teams in this trade involved in the playoffs. We'll go ahead and simulate these. Simulate through game. Toronto loses. Atlanta loses. Atlanta wins. Toronto loses. Atlanta wins. Toronto wins. Atlanta wins. Toronto loses. Atlanta wins. Toronto wins. Toronto, Ja Morant is going to a game 7 again. So we will simcast. First, let's look at this roster. It's probably the same thing that we think it is. Yeah, it's exactly what we think it is. Although Evan Mobley's not out there, he must be hurt. All right, I had to hop into the game and get my thumbnail photo, but we are back into the simulation real quick, and it looks like Toronto is getting out to a small early lead here. We're going to go ahead and speed this up, though. Toronto still holding a slim lead going into the 4th quarter. 4th quarter with 2 minutes to play. Looks like Toronto might come out of this with a win. Maybe. Cleveland is making a run. And there you have it, folks. Ja Morant has made it out of the first round of the playoffs. He had 23, 8, and 9 on 9 of 22 shooting, 2 of 6 from 3. He is shooting the ball very, very poorly. He's shooting the ball a lot, but he's shooting it very poorly. All right, so we'll head into the second round. We still have Atlanta here and Toronto here, and so we're just going to simulate these one game at a time. Atlanta wins, Toronto wins. Atlanta loses, Toronto wins. Atlanta loses, Toronto loses. Both teams lose. Oh wait, no, Atlanta won that one. My bad. Atlanta wins, Toronto wins. Could we get two of our teams playing each other in the conference finals? That would be cool. Toronto has made it. Atlanta is into a game 7. The video is not about Emmanuel Quickly, so we're not going to jump in and simcast this one. So we're just going to simulate through the game and see what happens. Atlanta has been eliminated. So Toronto has made it to the Eastern Conference playoffs just by trading for Ja Morant. They lose game 2, win game 3, lose game 4, lose game 5. So they made it to the Eastern Conference Finals. Memphis, thumbs down. Trading for Trae Young apparently doesn't do you any good in the game of 2K. Atlanta getting Emmanuel Quickly apparently worked out for them. I guess thumbs up. They're downgrading their point guard position but spending about the same amount of money. It's kind of a neutral. It's not really thumbs up, thumbs down. For Toronto, however, they made it all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals. They did get gentlemen swept. Oh my gosh. They did get gentlemen swept in the Eastern Conference Finals, but they made it to the Eastern Conference Finals. So I see that as a win. I mean, if Toronto trades for Ja Morant and they make it to the Eastern Conference Finals, that's further than they went last year. And so that's thumbs up for me. That's a thumbs up for the Toronto Raptors. All right, well, thumbs up for the Toronto Raptors. Let's go ahead and find our third trade and see what we can get done. All right, so this third trade that we're going to do, we're back on Bleacher Report. And I got to be honest with you, I don't see this one as super realistic or really going to be done at all, but it's fun. And so we're going to do this one here with the Minnesota Timberwolves. So the Grizzlies are going to get Rudy Gobert, Mike Conley, and Rob Dillingham. And the Timberwolves are going to get Ja Morant, Jacques Landale, and Gigi Jackson. I'm going to go put this into 2K and see if it will work. And if it won't work, then we'll just amend it, but it will keep generally the same pieces. I'll be right back. All right, so here we are in the trade builder. Everything did work out. There was a trade exception in the listed trade online, but we don't have to add that into this. Maybe we do. I don't actually know yet. We're going to go ahead and send this trade. Oh, I didn't turn on forced trades. I'll be right back. Okay, here we go. Let's try this again. We're back into the trade builder. We turned on trade override. Let's do this thing. Your decision has been declined. Sure. Boom. Turns out it wasn't declined. So I'm going to go select the Timberwolves to control, and then we'll get to Simmons. All right, here we are at the trade deadline. And again, Memphis is worse than if they would have been when we traded for Tyler Hero. But let's be honest, the best player that they got out of this trade was Rudy Gobert. So we didn't expect much out of Memphis on this one. Now the Timberwolves, on the other hand, we expect a lot because they still have Anthony Edwards and they're adding Ja Morant to that team. So that should be a cool team. But yeah, it's looking like, I mean, points-wise, the guys we traded for aren't doing anything. Assist-wise, Mike Conley's averaging 4, but I mean, 20 minutes a game and he's putting up 8 points. I mean, he's old. He's old. How old is Mike Conley? He's like 38 years old, so he's basically, 97. Let's click over to the Timberwolves and check some of their stats real quick. Season stats, not rookie report. That's not what I wanted to click. Player stats. Here we go. So points-wise, Ja Morant is the third leading scorer on the team. He is leading the team in assists, which is great to see, especially with guys like Anthony Edwards and Julius Randle on the team as well. Naz Reid is doing well. This could be a really good team. I didn't see what their standings were. And see, Ja Morant's shooting 28% from 3. So it must just be a thing with Ja Morant this year. Maybe his three-point shooting in the game is a lower rating than it has been in years past, because every single time we've done this, he's been below 30% from 3, which is just abysmal for a point guard. Yeah, so let's see what seed they are. They're the 3rd seed in the West. I am going to give them the 5 seed. I think by the end of the season, they'll be the 5 seed. But there's only one way to find out, and that's to simulate to the end of the season and see if I'm right. We'll see you there. All right, simming up to the end of the season here, and it looks like I was wrong. Minnesota's going to stay at a 3rd seed heading into the playoffs. Joker wins MVP, Cooper Flag Rookie of the Year. Yeah, that's to be expected. The real question is, can Ant or Ja Morant make All-NBA teams? And it's looking like Anthony Edwards makes 2nd team. Ja Morant makes 3rd team. And there's no Julius Randle, but that's fine. So they ended up with the 3 seed. Looks like they're taking on the Clippers in the first round. Let's go ahead and simulate the play-in because we don't care about the play-in. Let's see what the Clippers have. James Harden, Chris Dunn, Kawhi Leonard, Derrick Jones Jr., and Big Zoo. I think we're better, but let's go ahead and simulate game by game just in case things start to get hairy. Oh, wow, we lost 2 in a row. We won game 3, win game 4, win game 5, game 7. Ja Morant just cannot seem to get away from game 7s. I accidentally hit simulate through game instead of simcast. That could have been a travesty, but here we are. We are going up against the Steph Curry-led Golden State Warriors in the second round of the playoffs. We win game 1, we win game 2, we lose game 3, lose game 4, win game 5, headed to a game 7. 2 game 7s in a row. I feel like Ja Morant has been in a game 7 every year that we've simulated here, so maybe that's just me being crazy, but I think that that's the truth. Oh, wow, we got a pretty good lead here heading into the 4th quarter. It is looking like the Timberwolves might be able to walk away here. Oh, Steph's making a comeback. No, it's out of reach. There we go. All right, Julius Randle puts up 35 in a closeout game. Ja Morant with 11 and 13. Well, you don't love to see 11 points out of your starting point guard, but, 13 assists is pretty cool. And that brings us to Oklahoma City Thunder in the Western Conference Finals. This is the series that we didn't want because it's OKC. We lose game 1. We win game 2. We win game 3. We win game 4. We won game 5, and we are going to the NBA Finals. So Ja Morant in Minnesota might just be the play. Lose game 1. Win game 2, win game 3, lose game 4, lose game 5. Oh, we forced a game 7. This is our 3rd game 7 just in this playoff run. We got a simcast. Good first quarter. 6-point lead going into the first quarter. Then we just kind of blew it going into the second quarter. They bring it back. Looks like we're going to go into halftime losing. Get into the 3rd quarter, and they are running away with it. We are down by 14. We got to have a big 4th quarter here, and we're not having a big 4th quarter. Can't trade buckets with the New York Knicks, man. You can't trade buckets. You got to get stops. What a series, though. I mean, that was pretty crazy. Let's see if we can see. Oh, whoops! I accidentally hit the wrong button. Oh well, we can't see what he averaged. But here's the deal: that trade included players that are at the end of their prime, at the end of their career, really, going to Memphis, and then sending Memphis' maybe best player to the Timberwolves, who are already contenders. And so we knew that was going to be the case coming into it, was that Minnesota was probably going to make a deep playoff run by adding an all-star caliber point guard to the roster. Making it all the way to game 7 of the NBA Finals, didn't see that coming. But that means that trade is a thumbs up. That is an absolute win of a trade for the Minnesota Timberwolves. If they can somehow pull out Ja Morant from Memphis and add him to their roster, they could be legitimate contenders. I think they're legitimate contenders without adding Ja Morant, but they could be actually in the race. And as we saw here, they could beat OKC and dethrone Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. But anyway, thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave it a like and subscribe for more content like this. We'll be doing more stuff like this in the near future. We got a lot of stuff planned with the racing chair behind us. We got stuff planned with a few other games. I'm very excited for all the things that we got going on. But again, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace out.